mine had a blood count and his hemoglobin is low.
Let's remember what hemoglobin and its ranges treat in a person.
Today we want to bring you useful information about hemoglobin levels. For example, what are the normal values and what are dangerous for a person? Normal hemoglobin values in the population are more than 12.5 grams of hemoglobin in women, more than 13.5 grams of hemoglobin in men. Children can vary but should always be above 11 grams of hemoglobin. When they enter school age, they should already have the values of normal adults. It is important that the values are monitored because low levels can mean iron deficiency. What to do if we have low hemoglobin? Consume foods such as watermelon berries that today high iron, antioxidants, and vitamins. Let's all guava. Choose a diet rich in vitamins, folic acid, and iron such as eggs, green vegetables, legumes, seafood, and red meat in moderation.
You saw, everything will be fine.
White blood cell count. Leukocytes are the white cells that act on our immune system. Their values vary by stage or in the situation that a person is in. In adults, 4,000 to 10,000. Children, 60,000 to 17,000. Newborn, 9,000 to 30,000. In newborns, their high value is normal. It is because their immune system is activated by pathogens from abroad. Leukocytosis occurs when the values are greater than 40,000. It warns us that there is an infection, inflammation, or new spleens. Leukopenia occurs when values are less than 2,000, warns us that there is bone marrow failure, immune disease, bone marrow aplasia, or serious infection.
Companions, today we will study what are they for? Platelets. When we do a blood test, sometimes we do not fully understand the meaning of any of the components. Faced with white or red blood cells, what are platelets? What are platelets? What are platelets? They are the smallest cells we have in our blood, bleeding when we have a wound. They are also known as thrombocytes and have a regular shape. After this time, they are stored in the spleen where they will be destroyed by phagocytes. They are generated in the bone marrow, and since they are born, they pass. Platelets, also known as thrombocytes, are cells that we find in the blood and are responsible where the injury has occurred, forming a kind of plug or clot in order to stop bleeding. Therefore, they are essential cells for our health, and above all, for the proper functioning of our body. Having too many platelets in your blood can be negative, as can having medically under the name of thrombocytopenia. The risk of prolonged or uncontrolled bleeding increases, while if the number of platelets is higher than normal, a condition called thrombocytosis, it can cause abnormal blood clots to form, which can be serious or even life-threatening. Platelets or thrombocytes are blood cells that we find in the blood, which are mainly responsible for blood clotting. They are one of the 3 types of blood cells. In addition to mules, megakaryocytes are large cells that break into different fragments which have a series of proteins necessary to produce blood clotting and seal the ruptures of the blood vessels. A single megakaryocyte is capable of producing 1,000 to 3,000 platelets, which one also stores platelets, red blood cells, and functional white blood cells, removes them from the bloodstream. That is, like white blood cells or red blood cells, platelets are produced from stem cells present in the bone marrow. And why are they so named? Fundamentally because inactivated platelets bear a similar resemblance to miniature plates when viewed under. The blood of a healthy person, on average, has about 45% red blood cells, 55% plasta, and about 1% white blood cells. Platelets are such a small percentage of blood volume that we only count how many are in a microliter of blood. What are its main functions? What do platelets do and what are they for? The main role of platelets is to clog damaged or broken blood vessels, to prevent blood loss. Under normal conditions, platelets move in an inactive state through blood vessels. However, when a rupture occurs in a blood vessel wound, the platelets that are inactive are activated by the presence of certain molecules in the blood, which are secreted by the endothelial cells of the blood vessels. Once activated, the platelets are able to change their shape and become more rounded, with long finger-like projections that extend from the cell, sticky and adhere to each other and to the different surfaces of the blood vessels in order to cover or Plug any breaks present in the blood vessel. Activated platelets release a number of chemicals that cause a blood protein, known as fibrinogen, to become fibrin, responsible for the snap that occurs at the wound site. In this way, as fibrin molecules combine with each other, they form a long sticky fibrous mesh that traps platelets, white blood cells, and red blood cells.
Hematocrit or packet cell volume determination. Hematocrit literally means blood separation. It measures the percentage of volume of packed red cells in a volume of whole blood. So it's also known as packet cell volume or PCV. It is a screening test for anemia or polycythemia. A volume of anticoagulated blood is placed in a glass tube, which is centrifugated so the blood will be separated into three layers: red cells, buffy coat of WBCS and platelets, and plasma. Ideally, there should be complete separation of the three layers. Hematocrit is the ratio of the height of red cell column to that of the whole blood in the tube. Under aseptic condition, obtain a venous blood sample. Carefully mix the blood sample in EDTA white by repeating version. Fill the Winthrop tube with the help of Pasteur pipette to the 10 cm mark. There should be no air bubbles. Place the Winthrop tube in the centrifuge machine and other Winthrop tube filled with water on the opposite side so as to balance it. Turn the centrifuge on to the slow speed and then gradually increase the speed. Centrifuge for 30 minutes at 300 revolutions per minute. After 30 minutes, stop the centrifuge machine and allow it to stop by itself. Take out the winter tube and note the readings directly of the graduation. The red cells are seen packed at the bottom and the straw-colored column of plasma is seen above that. In between, there is a grayish-white layer consisting of WBCS and platelets. This layer is called the Buffy coat and is 0.5 to 1 mm in thickness. Read the level at which erythrocyte meet leukocyte. Quality control. The test should be performed in duplicate to check for imprecision. The duplicate test should not differ by more than 50%. MLI sample may give falsely decreased results and should not to be used. Blood must be well mixed and should be at room temperature before testing. The time and speed of centrifugation are important factors of obtaining maximum packing of the red cells. Inadequate centrifugation will result in falsely elevated results due to excessive trapped plasma. Blood and anticoagulant ratio is particularly important when using EDTA. Excessive EDTA will cause a falsely decreased hematocrit due to a shrinkage of red blood cells. Normal ranges for PCV in adult males 40% to 50% and in adult females 37% to 47%.